Well, hello everybody, and welcome to the famous Lock and Load show on the world famous Gun Channels platform and broadcasting across the interwebs. Little show about guns, freedom, and the truth until dawn, or until we all fall asleep or have to work the next day and have to go to sleep. It's been interesting weekend. Litecoin had a little pop today, like up 12% or so. Don't know if it's what's exactly causing that, if it's anything to do with China. I saw that an article that China is trying to put together some way to embargo rare earth exports to the U.S., and that directly impacts our military because F-35s use 920 pounds of rare earths. Minerals, just rare earth, I guess you call it. And let me see if I get the other figures up on it real quick. Right, a U.S. Navy Virginia class nuclear powered fast attack sub requires 9,200 pounds of rare earth metals. An Arleigh Burke class guided missile destroyer needs 5,200 pounds. So there's only one active rare earth mine, and it's in California. And I saw the CEO interviewed on, I think, Fox Business this morning. And they are spinning up a refinery for rare earths. And that's one of the things they're trying to make it a green and clean refinery, because in China they don't have any environmental regulations, and there can be some radioactive waste as the result, is one method of refining some of the rare earths. So they're trying to spin that up, but because right now all the rare earth mining materials have to get sent to China for refining before they get sent back, and China can effectively embargo rare earth. I don't think they can they're going to have to not send any rare earth to anybody if they because if they sell it to somebody, it'll once it gets on the market, then it gets traded one way or the other. So it's not just your cell phones that have rare earths; it's a lot of military stuff. Tomorrow is King Kamehameha Day, King Kamehameha Day in Hawaii, and so everybody's supposed to get the day off, I guess. That's just kind of crazy Hawaii way for having an extra day off. Which rare earth metals? All of them. There are a lot of rare earth metals. You could Google rare earth to try and find a list of exactly what they are. They have a lot of weird names that are difficult to pronounce, and I'm sure the F-35 uses different rare earths than the Arleigh Burke or the Virginia class attack subs. But let me just Google that really quick, or not Google it. I'm going to use a different search engine. Rare earth list. Rare earth elements. Let's see. Cerium. I can't even pronounce some of these. Neodymium, that one I've heard of. Praseodymium, promethium, samarium, europium. How come they don't have one called vodka-onium or something? Okay, europium, gadolinium, terbium, dysprosium, holmium, erbium, thulium, God, some of these are difficult to pronounce. Ytterbium. Ytterbium. Luteum, scandium, erdium. Let's see what it says. Atomic numbers 57 through 71, as well as 39 and 21, scandium. Doesn't somebody make a gun with
Smith
scandium?
& Wesson.
Yeah. Okay, so it's like a judge with made out of scandium or something, or was it something else?
I thought it was the Airwade or maybe one of the Lady Smiths or something. It's scandium frame Smiths were, I believe, small concealed carry revolvers. They're supposed to be lightweight and very strong, but I've heard some people say there were some drawbacks to them. I don't know if it's because they're so lightweight. Maybe they're a little snappier. I imagine you're going to pay more for that for the metal itself.
Lanthanum, cerium. Uranium is a rare earth metal. Neptunium. Never heard of that one. Plutonium. We've heard of that one. Oh, we have a rare earth metal that squibble like americium.
Yeah, you're naming off a lot of radioactive elements, some of which are kind of, I've heard of them making them in the lab just to prove that they exist. That's how rare they are. So,
Right.
I don't know. I don't know what they would need all that radioactive stuff for. I mean, I know they use some stuff in medical and whatnot, so maybe there's a similar application, but.
Radars. I don't know. Curium. Well, I know part of the problem was the one reason that they don't have any refineries for rare earth metals, or they're trying to build the green one, is because there's radioactive waste associated with extracting these metals from their source, Earth. Let's see.
I would think that if they're needed for strategic reasons, that the government wouldn't allow us to have to go to another country to get it. They may not. They might subsidize an industry just so that they're.
Well, what the CEO on Fox Businesses says is when he was asked directly, well, why do you think the government will nationalize your mine? And he said, they don't need to do that. All they have to do is just sign a contract and we'll deliver what they want. But right now, the refinery isn't. They're spinning it up, but it isn't up and running. When they took it over a couple of years ago, it was inactive. The whole mine was inactive, and they had 8 people just working there, and now they have 200 employees doing actively mining and working on building the refinery. Because right now, everything they dig up has to be sent to China to be refined, because the environmental laws they're like aren't any. They don't care how much radioactive waste they produce in China, but in California it's different. So they're trying to build a green refinery somehow. I don't know how you get plutonium and make it a green refinery, but they're working on that. So that'll be a minor miracle. Let's see, curium, berkelium, californium. That sounds. Oh, there's one called Einsteinium, but Californium. That sounds like a good name for bad wine or something. Maybe that'd be a good name for gun control. Californium bills, which there seem to be like cut and paste. That once they come up with one bill, they cut and paste it and they try and pass it in another state. Fermium, mendevlium, nobelium, lawrencium. Classifications of rare earths. Classification of rare earth elemental is hotly disputed as the list of included metals. One common method of classification is by atomic weight. Low atomic weight elements are light rare earth elements, LREEs. Elements with high atomic weight are heavy rare earth elements, HREEs. And middle are MREEs, not MREs, but MREEs, middle rare earth elements. One popular system categorizes atomic numbers up to 61 as LREEs and those higher than 62 HREEs. So I hope that answers your question, or hopefully maybe it may have left you more confused than when you started. But as far as what they are, let's see. Scandium used to make light alloys for the aerospace industries as a radioactive tracer and in lamps. Yttrium used in yttrium aluminum garnet YAG lasers as a red phosphor in superconductors, in fluorescent tubes and LEDs, and as a cancer treatment. Lanthanum used to make high refractive index glass, camera lenses, and catalysts. Cerium used to impart a yellow color to glass, the catalyst as a polishing powder, and to make flints.
I think iridium would be used as an insulator.
Neodymium used to impart violet color to glass and ceramics in lasers, magnets, capacitors, and electric motors. Promethium used in luminous paint and nuclear batteries. Right. Europium used to prepare red and blue metal phosphors in lasers and fluorescent lamps. And NMR relaxant. You're the one I couldn't pronounce. Ytterbium, YTTERBIUM, used in infrared laser, stainless steel, and nuclear medicine. Lutetium, used in positron emission tomography, PET scans, high refractive index glass catalysts, and LEDs. All right, well, I think I spent enough time on that. That's what I get for answering questions in the external. Vanessa Kitty says, usually in permanent magnets. Ferrocerium rods are the one used as fire starters, but that's iron and cerium. That's well, how come there's so many bad ferrocerium rods out there that don't last very long? I mean, I've got a few. Maybe it's because it's just really ferro. I don't know why. Because there's just some that don't last very long, or they don't put out very good sparks, or so. And there's some that are good ones, but a lot of the cheap ones. Well, that would explain why a lot of ferrocerium rods are from China, if it's all supposed to be rare earth. But let's see. Jesse James said he just got the MDR back last week from having all the 2019 upgrades. Overall, it's 200% better in function. Gonna have to come on and explain that. I can even find the there it is. No, just me and the gun channel side if anybody wants a link. I could send you a link on the Vanessa if you want. You could tell me about whatever I messed up on the whatever I messed up on the I'll send you an instant message on gun channels. Assuming I can still do that after having sent some nasty ones to Dead Horse. Let's see. Just one nasty one. right, I sent you a link on the instant messages on your channels. So, see if I can make it back to the external, see what people are saying. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. It was difficult trying to pronounce all that stuff. Jesse, you're gonna have to explain to me exactly what an MDR is. STG 58, all that. Yeah, you're gonna have to come in on and explain that because I'm not really sure what you're talking about, Jesse. Well, I did go to UCLA, so I can usually, and I did used to dub foreign languages, which some of that stuff qualifies as trying to pronounce foreign languages, because oh right, the Desert Tech. Now I know what you're talking about. I remember that now. How that must have cost you a fortune, the Desert Tech MDR. Weren't those things? I remember those things being so expensive. It was like I was like, that looks really, really cool, but I'm never even gonna bother. That and not just because of the rep back list, it was just because the rifle was too expensive, if memory serves. That was one of those modular rifles where you could put in, you could change out the barrel, and you could shoot different calibers with it, and not just change out the barrel, but other parts of it. Or was that not the bullpup? Was that a different one? I mean, I remember that from like 3 SHOT Shows ago, or maybe 4, when I used to pay attention to SHOT Show. I don't really pay attention to SHOT Show anymore. $2,500 for a bullpup? Yeah, that's pricey. I remember when they were charging more than retail for the Tavor when it first came out, and people were paying like double retail or something because they were like, it was unobtainium. But I was like, I am not paying more than MSRP. I don't care how long I have to wait, like that. And but even $2,500, that's MSRP. That's pretty pricey for a bullpup. It's a 308 bullpup, but so does yours have different calibers? Can you change the calibers out on that 308 bullpup, or is it just 308? Not that there's anything wrong with 308. It's a kick-ass caliber. Well, all right. So Oklahoma is off with his family today, so he can't make the show. I talked to Oily, I texted Oily for a while. They all survived the tornadoes, and her family is doing okay. Her husband is recovering from. He had some major issues with his some of his fingers, or at least his thumb, I think, and it seems to be healing. So they're all okay. Some interesting videos I watched over the weekend. I think Canadian Prepper just put one out about the first 100 days in a shit hits the fan situation without power. Won't be fun. I mean, that's the thing I would say about if the shit hits the fan, it's not going to be a breeze through. It's not going to be fun. I don't care how much mountain house you have set back. Living without power is not going to be fun if that's what happens. And hopefully everybody's car won't die. He did seem to think that just a solar coronal ejection won't really necessarily kill all the cars. It has to be an EMP and at a specific altitude, directed at a specific area. So that'll be nice if I can actually bug out to a jungle bug out location, and if I can make it there. I think it'll be the real foreseeable near future possibility was if there was a banking system crash and nobody could use plastic to go to the groceries and buy groceries, because I think over 90% of grocery purchases over $100 are done with plastic, credit cards. And if that system just stops working for a while, then people won't be able to get food, and it'll get nasty real quick. Especially if you live in some metropolitan area where there's millions of people per square mile or something. Everybody's packed in like sardines. Thankfully, that's not where I'm at, but a lot of people are. So escape while you can, I guess. Let's see. Saw some Naked and Afraid stuff out there, and I think they had a few episodes in some South China Island that looked kind of nasty, where there's sharks everywhere and they have to build a raft or something. Looked scary. Because when you go into the ocean, that's the wilderness. And sharks have been there for millions of years before humans invented fire. So they're the apex predators. And you go out to the ocean. Man may have tamed civilized parts of the land, but the ocean, that's the wilderness. So once you set foot in there, you enter the food chain. So I wouldn't advise going into the ocean unless you have to. Ocean can be a dangerous place. But there are things you can eat in the ocean. There are things that can kill you in the ocean. So there aren't too many predators here on the Big Island on land. And the ones that are very small. So the small poison ones don't get you. And you're okay. There are scorpions here, brown recluse spiders. They do an incredible amount of damage. Black widows, stuff like that. And hopefully you won't get gored by a 400-pound boar who's angry at you for some reason. Let's see, not too much else. Oh yeah, so Governor Ige is gonna try to decide whether he's going to veto the bill decriminalizing marijuana in Hawaii. That's a bill I really could care less about what he does, but they passed a bill to decriminalize marijuana, and it's up to Ige, the governor of Hawaii, if he wants to sign it or not. And it ought to be interesting. I could care less what he does with that. There's people who are vociferously anti and pro on that one, and I don't care. Let's see. Has anybody else been working on anything? I know Squib's been working on his garden. It looks like a fun garden. I wish I had a place, nice space, little space like that. It doesn't look like it's big enough for you to survive off of it or anything if the grid goes down, but it looks like a lot of fun. You could get some extra stuff from there.
It's work. With the summer being so short here, I only have a certain time I can do it. Like on a weekend, I have to decide: do I want to work on the house? Do I want to work on the garden? Or do I want to go to the range? So, kind of really, I let weather dictate or family stuff dictate. If I'm out there working in the garden and try to get it all done before the rain comes down, we've got rain pretty much every day for the past 2 weeks.
Somehow I just managed to kill I'm just using my Brave browser. Let me try and reboot the browser. Just killed all the external chat on my computer. Let me get it back up. Store button. So you were talking about those red multicolored peppers you were planting?
Mexibel, yeah. I planted some. I'd never seen them before, and I got some last year. Planted them in
Mexibo?
Mexibel. So it's a hot bell pepper. Yeah, so it's like a bell pepper, but it's hot. It's a hybrid. So I bought some last year, and because I wanted to try them out, and the plants died. They just didn't survive. And they had them a little bit later in the year. You know, there's a certain cutoff point where they stopped selling plants at Home Depot and stuff. But I thought I'd give them a try. So what I did this year was I ordered seeds from Amazon because I had been looking at the plants coming into the nurseries and I hadn't seen any Mexibel peppers. I said, well, maybe they don't have them. Maybe they won't send them up here. Maybe there's a reason they died. Maybe they aren't supposed to grow in Michigan. I don't know. So I put in the seeds, but I left a spot in the front and the back of the row of seeds just in case. And on the weekend, I found some Mexibel peppers at Home Depot, so I bought 2 plants.
So you said on your video you're gonna put the 2 plants at the top and the end of the row, and then the seeds in the middle.
Yep.
Well, that'll be interesting. Peppers are they're pretty good. Added into almost anything recipe.
Well, we had a lot of pepper plants die last year. The year before, my dentist, he had a bunch of his pepper plants die, and I don't know, it could be
the cold.
We've had some mild summers. We don't get, I mean, some of these plants like hot and humid. And when it's overcast and kind of cold, I mean, when it's 70 something during the day and 50 something at night in June, yeah, it's a little bit, not to say you can't grow anything in Michigan, because you can, but it just, I don't know. Sometimes it's a bit of a challenge. We expanded the garden this year. Maybe next year we'll expand a little bit more, but if we really want to make the garden bigger, we're going to have to cut down some trees or something to bring more light in, that's all.
Dusty said he didn't realize he was stopping in at a chemistry class. You must have tuned in when I tried to pronounce all the rare earth names. Okay. Well, one day when I actually get a place where I can have a garden, I'll get all the advice I need from you guys, and Oklahoma, and plus there's I have a few, subscribed to a few gardening channels, and it's just well, it looks like a lot of fun. I'd really love to have one again, but got to get out of the condo. That's been my goal for quite some time, but it's not an easy one. Let's see. I noticed something on, I'm going to do a little crypto corner thing right here. I noticed that Exodus is now, they have a version that not only works on a cell phone, it works on with the Trezor, because I use an Exodus wallet for my cryptocurrencies, and if I could get a Trezor that works with them, I was like, man, that's cool, and it does, because then you could just like take your cryptocurrencies, throw them in a EMP resistant bag, and if the grid goes down, you just take the currencies out, and you take the thing out of your wallet if there's some electromagnetic event that screws up electronics, and you take it out of your bag or your Faraday cage or whatever, and then it's all on a thing that's not connected to the internet at all. I mean, you could plug it into a laptop or whatever, but and it's just a little pocket storage device you stick in your pocket, literally, and but they got Exodus to work on it, and so it's like, wow, you could use your Exodus wallet with a Trezor. That's like new. I have been waiting for the Vega wallet to version 3 to be released, but not yet on that one. The cryptos did good today, not so good yesterday, but today it's like Litecoin was up 11 or 12%. Happy about that. Other than that, it's everything. There seems to be a lot of manipulation with the whole market. It's all based on the China, the Mexico deal, and what the Fed's going to do. I mean, they had a bad jobs number, and on what, Friday, I think, and so the market went up because they had a bad jobs number, because everybody was thinking, okay, the Fed's gonna cut the rates again, more quantitative easing, more money printing. So it's like bad news is good news if you're long the market. But I mean, in the end, bad news is bad news. But sometimes the market is counterintuitive, and I just get the feeling that everything is being manipulated by the powers that be, and it's hard to believe anything you hear nowadays. I just try to keep within myself and work on what I'm working on, my preps and stuff. I think I got a new book that should be here today. It's supposed to be from Amazon on camouflage. Let me see if I can punch it up. Called Appear to Vanish. Stealth Concepts for Effective Camouflage and Concealment. Matthew Dermody. It had a lot of, it's like all 5-star reviews, and I was like, oh, that looks pretty good. So I'm just going to pick that one up. See if I could do a quick screen share of it. Let's see. I like reading, prepping kind of books and stuff. But geez, it's not letting me share anything. It just gives me a black screen if I want to share something. I wonder if that's Google trying to control us or something. Let's see. Yeah, I'm showing a black screen. It's not letting me screen share anything for some reason. All right, well, maybe that's Google messing with us. Google is being targeted by the Trump administration, looks like, finally, or Congress in general, too. There's a little bit of over social engineering. And the thing about stuff like YouTube and Facebook is that historically, monopolies use their power to manipulate the prices. And so the downside is consumers wind up paying more. That was the whole theory with Standard Oil, breaking up Standard Oil. They were afraid that if they left it together, oil prices would go up. Well, so if they broke it up, oil prices wouldn't go up. Well, the prices went up anyway, but not, I mean, that was because of the Arab oil embargo originally. I mean, I remember I was watching Die Hard the other day, and if you look at the scene when the police officer stops to look at the Nakatomi Towers, and he's in the gas station after buying a bunch of Twinkies for his wife or something, and the price of gas in the gas station is 77 cents a gallon for, I guess, regular, and so there was one of them that was less than that. And I remember when gas was less than $1, and I used to just used to refuse to buy gas for over $1, but I have to break down and buy gas eventually. But that was when I started monitoring the price of gas and tried to fill up when it was low. The price went down. But if you see like the Rockford Files, when gas is like 25 cents a gallon or something in some of the markets, or some of the shots when he's in a gas station, like the one that used to be in PCH and Pacific Coast Highway. Just watching that, it's just like, I guess, I don't know if that's me getting old or just looking at the old movies or old TV series, but prices change, but they're definitely manipulated. The thing is that the point that I was trying to make is that Google, I mean, it's traditionally people have monopolies so they can raise the prices, but basically YouTube and Google and Facebook, they provide free services to everybody, and so with the catch is that they will monitor every fucking thing that you do and surveil you in every possible way that they can, and keep every kind of record on everything you do, and buy records from other people on everything that you do, and then sell it to the highest bidder or even the lowest bidder. But they'll sell it to anybody, and so it's like a surveillance. And in China, they're basically building a surveillance state where they give everybody a social grade. So it's like you can't get on an airplane if you don't have a high enough social score by the government or something. And Joe Biden was complaining that about that kind of thing, and his son is actually invested in the Chinese company that has the software that runs the surveillance on the internet. So they're making money from the same people that they're criticizing for doing the stuff that they're criticizing. But yeah, it's a crazy, screwed up world. Anyway, so this was an interesting book by the author is Matt Dermody, Appear to Vanish, and it had all 5-star reviews, so I picked that up and added to my prepper library. There was a follow-up that had mixed reviews, but this was his first book. It had a lot of good reviews. And so, let's see, I think Anti-Tracking was for Tracking Humans, one of them. I forget. But Appear to Vanish was supposed to be the good book, so I got that one. I was thinking about getting T.E. Lawrence's book. T.E. Lawrence was Lawrence of Arabia. He actually wrote a book about it called The 7 Pillars of Wisdom. That's on my list. When I looked it up on Amazon, there was some warnings about which copies were screwed up because of bad translations or bad printing, and they had numbers instead of where the letters were supposed to be. And so I couldn't figure any of it out. So I just put that on my figure it out later list. Let's see. I'll check the externals really quick here. Didn't really have a topic for the show. In Hawaii, it was a nice sunny day today. A little humid, but not too bad. Let's see. So I'm not going to bash somebody for posting a video I didn't like on gun channels, but I was angry this morning at what was his name? Who did I say I was angry at? I forget.
I'm not getting into this.
Oh, we're not getting into this. Okay. Never mind. I was angry at somebody. Gun channels. But I didn't get into a yelling match because I didn't go on the lobby. But anyway. That's the internet. Sometimes people post things you don't like. All right. Well, I'm just trying to search for interesting topics. Let's see. I wish I could share this screen. I wonder if Google isn't letting people share stuff from the Brave browser, because I tell you what I like about the Brave browser. I'll talk about that. I got it at brave.com. I mean, is that it blocks like all kinds of surveillance stuff. It blocks cookies. It blocks, and it lists on every web page how many tracking things it blocked, and just a bunch of blank page. Say 409 trackers blocked, 11,073 ads blocked, 91 HTTPS upgrades, 10 minutes time saved on downloads, I guess. All right. All right. Scuba Magazine. Yeah. Where's the different Hawaii? Let's see what's on the Hawaii Free Press site. Let's see. So in Hawaii, they've already banned sunscreen and I think straws. And a scientist from scuba scientist, biologist from who has a syndicated columnist in Scuba Magazine, basically said the whole thing about straws and sunscreen is baloney. I mean, straws aren't good for the ocean environment, but that's not what's all the stuff that washes up. It's mostly bottles. You know, they aren't banning plastic bottles, but they're banning straws because that's an easier target. And they're banning suntan lotion, at least certain kinds, because it's supposed to be bad for coral, and apparently it's only bad for one kind of coral. It's not bad for all kinds of coral. It's bad for one kind of coral. So basically, this guy is saying they're picking stuff that really isn't the problem to get people's attention, but they're banning stuff that really there's no reason to ban. Personally, I have tons of straws, and I use them. I'm not using them tonight. Tonight I'm just having Irish whiskey on the rocks, no straws. Because I've never heard of anybody drinking whiskey through a straw. That would really piss off Dusty, I would think. But I think I'd like Dusty to get his beer barn looking like that Butter Run Saloon. Look, because I saw the pictures of the Butter Run Saloon, and that looks really nifty. All the nice bar stools and the countertop for the bar, and all the flat screen TVs. I imagine his barn doesn't quite look like that yet. Vanessa, when I was on the plane, they gave me a little packet of coral-friendly sunscreen. It wasn't enough for anything, but they gave me a packet of it as a promotional thing. I can get the name. It's just in the other room. Yeah, if you do a straw if you do a whiskey review drinking whiskey from a straw, you'll probably get like 1 million downvotes.
That's all right. I can deal with
it.
Let me
get the sunscreen since Vanessa asked. It's in the other room. Dead air.
Oh, I guess this is where I'm supposed to say something because he went into the other room. Some really good co-host I am. Actually, I'll be getting off the show here pretty soon. I got to get some sleep. I got to take the dog to the vet tomorrow. Oh, he's back.
I mean, doing a whiskey review if you get 1 million thumbs down, that'll be really, you'll still make a lot of money off of it. But it's called Raw Elements. What they handed out. Protect Hawaii's ocean with reef-friendly sunscreen. Raw Elements. Broad spectrum. SPF 30 water resistant. 90 minutes. Certified natural sunscreen. Hawaii Airlines is partnering with Raw Elements to protect Hawaii's coral reefs. Well, the thing is that apparently it's only one specific kind of reef that's vulnerable to. I don't like metal straws, Vanessa. I mean, I'm not doing metal straws because that's like asking for dental problems. It's just like, the only thing a metal straw might be good for is using it as a bellows in fire starting. I wouldn't do it. I mean, I'm not going to put a straw in my bug out bag or my game mission kit. Oh, I have I got like a barrel condom that I could actually put over a straw. I forgot who sent me a barrel condom, but Hawaii doesn't have anybody. There's no money. The state has no money. If you sue them and win, they can't pay you because they're broke. That's why they keep taxing us. All they can do is try and think of new taxes and new fees. You have metal straws? Well, I hope all your teeth are still attached. You use those recklessly. Mess up your have dental problems. And having a dental problem, if the shit hits the fan, the grid is down, will not be fun. I promise you that. I think I had a discussion once on Ron's show when he was still doing Fox Company prepping, and that was Because if you've ever had a infected tooth, it hurts to just, if you close your mouth, it hurts. If you open your mouth, it hurts. And so the treatment is 10 cent per plastic bag starting October 1st. The treatment is antibiotics. So basically I said to get some fish antibiotics. I have some set back, some fish antibiotics. And since basically that kills the infection and the pain goes away. And so that's really, all you need is a painkiller for the first couple of days and then a few days of antibiotics. I'm trying to remember the exact one, but there's fish antibiotics out there. And so if the grid goes down and you don't have any antibiotics and a painkiller to go with them, and you need a strong painkiller for dental pain, let me tell you. If you have an infected tooth, you are going to regret the day you were born. You have a Big Island Brewhouse metal straw? I won't ask you to demonstrate how to use a metal straw, but I have plastic straws. And what was he saying? There's I have the same one. I know I got the same one that my dentist prescribed me. So it's just I have the Fish Mox version. Amoxicillin, basically, the Fish Mox. It's amoxicillin. That's the for dental infection. That's what my dentist prescribed me when I had an infected crown, and that, and he gave me some prescription for that one that painkiller that they're banning, or not banning, but they're really strictly controlling. I remember when I went to the pharmacy, they before they filled the prescription, they had to notify the police because somebody was getting and they're really cracking down on that one. But so he gave me the strongest painkiller because I mean you really can't close your mouth without being in intense pain. So yeah, if you have an infection or dental problem when the grid goes down, you're going to be in severe need of painkillers and antibiotics. So that might be something all you prepper guys want to figure out how to deal with before it happens. Or you could just not use metal straws. That might help. There's nothing wrong with plastic straws. And you just brush your teeth. Well, I'm purifying my teeth. I'm killing all the microbes with Irish whiskey. So, Irish whiskey on the rocks. Let's see. Okay, I covered using. They've got Exodus on the Trezor. Vega while it's still not there. Rare earth metals did that. The governor. Will he or will he not veto the marijuana decriminalization bill? HB 1383 decriminalizes the possession of 3 grams or less of marijuana. 3 grams? What's that, one joint? I don't know. And replaces that violation with a monetary fine of $130 and establishes a marijuana evaluation task force. Marijuana evaluation task force? No, that's like first like Amazon drones, you're gonna deliver the marijuana, and then you join the task force, so you get to evaluate all the different kinds of marijuana. I mean, I have a very good friend of my family that was actually there. He, older gentleman, he runs, he owns a California, a legal California farm and pot farm, and he just does it for the money. It's just a business venture, that's all. I don't think he has a dispensary for it. I'm not sure how he sells it, but I guess he doesn't have any problem selling it. I don't know anything about him, but when I was a teenager, that would have been like a dream job, and I would have done it. How do you get put on? How do you get a job being on this Sounds like a dream job. Marijuana Evaluation Task Force. To make recommendations on changing marijuana use penalties. Oh, I thought it was to like evaluate different kinds of marijuana. Oh well. Why should you get involved? That shit, yeah, that shit gives me a headache nowadays. If I get a secondhand buzz or something, or contact high off somebody, I'll get a headache. And so I just try and avoid people that do that kind of thing. But because I get like a migraine if I get anywhere near that shit nowadays. When I was a kid, I was a wild and crazy person, but now that I'm an old fogey, let's see. There is a chance he could veto the bill, but so I guess everybody is going to be on pins and needles waiting to see what he does as far as decriminalizing it. I mean, 3 grams, that's not very much. I remember back in the day when a dime bag would buy you a really big bag, but that's just dating myself, I think. Oh, I thought I was just started reading the first part of Dano's comments, and I said that is why I stocked several types of. I thought it was going to be marijuana, but it was antibiotics. So you must have heard the first part. Yes, in case I get put on the marijuana evaluation task force, I'm going to have several types of marijuana to evaluate. Let's see. Yeah, I basically just got the amoxicillin because that's what I got. There's a bunch of different kinds that are more expensive, but I just got the one that my dentist prescribed me. The one time I had a tooth infection, and that was amoxicillin, the fish mox version, the fish antibiotic ones. So which you can still buy legally for your fish. And if the shit hits the fan and there's no pharmacy working, or there's no computers working, or stores have all been looted, or whatever, there's no way to get pharmacy your prescriptions filled, or prescriptions. I imagine antibiotics will be worth a lot of money. As anybody who saw Force 10 from Navarone remembers, where they invented a story when they were captured that they had buried some penicillin somewhere, and they would go dig it up for the German commander if the price was right or something, and sell it to him. And then he offered them a choice of either being executed or shot, or they could go dig up the imaginary penicillin. And the first Guns of Navarone was so much better than the second. If you only saw the second, then just go see the original with Gregory Peck and David Niven. They played very well off of each other in that movie. Was heads and tails up above the sequel. But that's my movie outlet for the day. I don't know anything else we should talk about here, because I think we lost Squib, and it's just me. So, and I'm having trouble with the screen share today, so I don't know if that's Google acting up or just me. But hey, thanks everyone for tuning in to the Lock and Load Show. I always try and have good subjects, but tonight I really didn't have one. Other than I was just really happy that I got a comment from the Hawaii Firearms Policy Coalition that they liked the Rap Activist show. They said I did a good job explaining their lawsuit. And I usually don't get comments on YouTube from the active litigants in Second Amendment litigation. And they have the lawsuit against the FBI for failing to comply with their Freedom of Information request. But I could watch the old video to go into that. It's not a month old. But it was really nice to get a compliment from, because that's what I started doing on Gun Channels for it all, was because I was following the Peruta case, and I read all the court filings, and amicus briefs ad infinitum. So I was really into that stuff. But something comes up that directly affects me, like I hate the Rat Pack list, and I just haven't bought a gun since they signed that bullshit into law, for lack of a better word. And so I'll watch that case. If anything happens, I'll try and keep you guys updated. But hey, thanks for tuning into Lock and Load Show, and supporting the channel by tuning in every Monday. It's really the only day in the week where I try and have something intelligent to say. Try and be logical and insightful for 1 hour or so once a week on Mondays. And anyway, I think it's time to get to the chopper. So I'm going to head on out. And thanks for tuning in. Peace be with you. Don't forget to lock and load. Hey, thanks, Vanessa. Yep. Let's see here. Where is the off button on this thing?